Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. We're going to look at Naihanchi for bunkai concepts, not necessarily the whole thing. There are so many ways to do this, and I was just posting on my website that I'm building today some of the history of Seidokan and Toma Sensei's studies. One of the two big divisions that occurred in styles, so in the late 50s, early 60s, around 61 or 2, Okinawa pretty much joined the JKA, Japan Karate Association, the Nihon Butokukai, which was formed originally with Funakoshi and Jigoro Kano as a way to sort of be a clearinghouse governing body for all of the martial arts in Japan that would then register and say, hey, we do Iaido, we do Kendo, Judo, Shotokan, Shito-ryu and stuff. And this started way back in like the 30s and 40s, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check my history. Don't quote me. But it wasn't until the 60s that Okinawa got on board and said, okay, we accept that we're part of Japan. We're going to register with the JK. And they formed these Okinawan, I want to call them research societies, to put together. One of the first big fights, I guess, that happened, and part of the reason that nobody stayed members, was in those organizations, they could never come to an agreement on how a kata should be performed, much less what the bunkai, what the application or the fighting was behind it. Even all these masters on Okinawa, direct lineage guys, disagreed on what it was. So for us to say, oh, it's definitely this or definitely that, I have friends, other styles and within our style, who every move is tweety, practically. Or every move is a pressure point. That's the Oyata view. A lot of stuff is everything has to, be stomach 9 and long 6, and that became the conflict in the early JKA Okinawan associations, and that was one of the first dividing factors that came up. So to say that there is a bunkai that is right, it can be tweety, it can be atemi, it can be throwing, it can come off a grab, it can come off a block, it can come off a punch. Now I have actually done Naihanchi kata, just as a flow. Now McCarthy sensei in the Koryu Uchinari does flow drills based on the kata, but we can actually take the entire kata, at least the first half, because then it mirrors itself, all with this one guy. So we start with just this cross-hand wrist grab, the standard, or the other one, whichever way we're going to go. So I just start my kata with the bow, the step, coming across, or the kicking his knee across, bringing it down, out to the side, grab, back fist, bring him in, elbow, pull this down. As I do, I keep a hold of this wrist. I step aside, stomp, cross, bring him up here, bring him up, yeah. And I bring him back down, strike this way, switch, strike this way, sweep him, right? And then from here, that's the entire first side of the kata. We can do that as just an exercise and a drill. Not every bunkai is straight out into the fighting world. We're learning how to connect, flow, move from one thing to another, maintain control of my opponent. And there are a couple of different ways of doing even that I just did. Then there's the other concept, which I don't agree with, but it is a way, and for me to say you're wrong is dumb, is I take each move as an individual strike. So he could be punching. And again, I think this is wrong, but it is a way to learn. Right? I'm going to step, block, slide in, elbow. From here, again, I can either keep the head in both hands this way and then break, or from my elbow, I can slide this hand back along to here as I do my low block to this side and step in and punch. Hopefully that's done, okay? Now that came all from a punch. What if I connect the opening to that? Well, I kind of already did that in this drill. So if we take, again, let me go this way, just at an angle a little bit. So if I take this concept that I already did here, right? Coming over, big strike, bring it up, strike into the elbow, bring him down. I can connect those two things together. Right? right? As I come across and punch. So there are a variety of ways to interpret that, whether it's even from the wrist grab, even here. In some styles of Naihanchi, the palm is up instead of extended and out. We're doing it extended and out, where in others, it's just down and through, which enables me to come in to this elbow a little bit easier. Both would work, okay? And then again, into the neck break and so forth, all right? On this portion, he could be choking me, right? I break this arm down as I punch, come across, come around. Nose, philtrum, pressure point under the jaw. From here, step, then I've thrown him down, or I can even follow with the hammer, right? Listen, okay, maybe it's a punch. I'm gonna step off to the side. Now, I may not grab that right away. That's okay, because now I can grab here. I can come across this way, make this my choke as I take him down and throw. So there are a variety of levels from holds to throws to strikes to joint locks. One of my very most favorite is, let's take a wrist lock here, is we do the up and down block strike, right? And from here, again, sweeping through, or the cross kick, because Naihanchi gives us touch reference. I hit here to indicate that that's where I'm going to kick the guy, okay? So I can either make it the sweep here or the cross kick here. Those are just some ideas. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, we talk a lot of times about Naihanchi being on a wall, back to the wall, sideways on a rice paddy. This I'm going to be adamant about. Disagree if you like. I want my opponent at a 45 to me. If, and I'm going to turn the camera just slightly here so you can see here. If I have my back to the wall and my attacker is in front of me here, right? My first move is going to be to put him off at an angle to me, right? So if he's right in front of me, I don't want to be here. He punches, I want to be, now he's at my 45. So let's just take the first low block as an example. When he's kicking, if I'm not doing, right, yes, technically I want to come in and be doing the low block, joint locks, tweety, so forth, okay? Well, let's just take a real simple version. He throws the kick, I move to the 45 and strike inside his thigh and punch. Well, there's a famous story in the book Moving Zen by C.W. Nichol, who was one of the first first Europeans to get instructor licensed at the JKA. And he tells a story of being on the subway and a guy jostling him and he just throws this punch. So yes, it could be the Tweety move, right? It could be the elbow strike, but he had this guy holding the handle of the subway who was intentionally bumping him every time there was a bump, just becoming obnoxious about it. And so, right, this guy's holding this chain up here and he's bumping into him every time. And C.W. Nichol tells the story, he just went bam, right into the guy's armpit. Knocked him out. There is a plexus of nerves in that area, the sobaco, the armpit, that he apparently hit the guy kind of hard because he was ticked at him. So don't discount the striking potential. Don't discount necessarily the individual block strike combinations. But yes, at a deeper understanding level, we definitely want to be looking more at lapel grab, whatever, right? We definitely want to be looking more at the Tweety type movements here, right? Bringing this kind of a strike, okay? So I'm manipulating the guy, whether I'm coming around and under, bending his elbow, or coming around and under straight with the elbow. He grabs here, he's going to hit with this hand. Right? Now I have the Tweety. And when I come from here, now I turn this side, there's the elbow break. So all of those are potential. What I teach in my dojo is strike, then lock, then throw, then finish. Control, enter, control, dispatch. And however you achieve that, if your entry is a block, then the hit is the control and the dispatch, great. Like the story of C.W. Nickel, okay? Or if you go Tweety to enter and then control them using that Tweety and then dispatch, both okay. Flow drills, as in Koryu Uchinari, Abernethy Sensei from Wales does his own version of flow drills, which are much more striking oriented, whereas McCarthy's include strikes but are based on the Tweety and the holds and the grappling. So all good. Let's not be like those guys in the JK who said, no, my bunkai's right, your kata's wrong, right? All good. Find your path. I gave you, 4 different ways just within that to work on what Naihanchi can do for you. It should become your personal style within your system. Thanks for joining. Hopefully I didn't hurt Max too bad, okay?
Good.
Oh, all the joints are still bent. Okay, good. See, it looks harsh, but he knows where we're going, so it's all good. And until next week, as always, thank you for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Love my haters. Must be doing something right. And until next week, as always, let's keep practicing.